Hello and welcome. I was fortunate enough to get a preview copy of PGA Tour 2K23 from HB Studios and 2K, and wanted to be able to show it off to you guys what I'm able to. Now, we're a little limited in what we can show you and when we can show it. I will give you guys as much info as I'm allowed to share whenever I'm allowed to share it, and give you my kind of honest opinion on the changes for the new game, mechanics, all of that sort of thing. Now, Andre, Jeff, Mark, those guys have all already made a couple videos. I'm a little behind because my schedule has been incredibly hectic and I have a little bit of a short window in which I can record, so maybe not the most polished videos, maybe a little rushed. I don't really have time to do like a script or anything like that. So we're sort of just hopping in and giving real-time feedback quickly. But a couple things I wanted to check. I wanted to do a little experiment in comparing. I think I have these set up. So the two players have a slightly different type of swing. This one's not working. Did I? We're gonna have to restart this, aren't we? Oh, never mind. There we go. Awesome. Sorry about that. I'm not sure why the controller didn't sync up for that. That's okay. But have slightly different styles of swing, same difficulty setting, and I'm curious to see if I notice much of a difference in terms of the difficulty. Also, I wanted to. Nobody's really, played with any of the female avatars, and I figured since that's a part of the game, and maybe there's a lot of women players out there who are interested in the game and want to see something that they'd probably be playing with when they play the game, that sort of stuff. I hadn't really seen that yet, so wanted to highlight that if I could. Now, the swing animation for female golfers in the old game was a little wonky, in my opinion. So it made playing as a woman in the old game a little difficult. But from what I've seen so far, definitely much improved. The big thing I had was putting, where the putting stroke for the female character was a little wonky, and that made it really difficult to putt. So I think part of the reason you rarely see people playing like that. However, I'll have to take a look at that in maybe a future video, but for now I'd say overall swing animation definitely improved. Definitely thumbs up for that. I think I'm a pretty big fan of all of the swing changes in general. I'm a big fan of the sort of the rebalancing in terms of getting perfects is pretty hard, but getting gray fasts and functional shots is much easier. So there's a much wider range where it's harder to just hit absolutely dead accurate shots, as you can see by me really struggling to hit these targets. But ultimately, it's easier to hit perfect shots, but harder to hit disastrous shots. And I think that's a pretty good balance to strike, letting kind of minimalizing the frustration of hitting like really disastrous shots in the old game, where you'd kind of easily get red fasts, that sort of thing, red slows, and it would just throw you off in the woods somewhere when it felt like your timing was just a little bit off. I've only seen maybe one or two of those in this new game, and I am really not very good at it. So I'm definitely testing the outer edges of what you'd expect from an avid player in terms of the quality of play, as you can see by my scoring from this mode so far. But yeah, ultimately I think this feels like a nice sort of maybe a little zen. It's there's not a whole lot to it. I don't think this would be a major selling point for people on the on the fence of whether or not they want to buy this game. Because it almost feels more like a mini game. There's not a lot of depth to it. And I feel like it's something that solo I'd play a couple times just to get a feel for it. Maybe chase a high score once or twice. But once I did that, I wouldn't see myself playing this mode by myself very much. However, I think it also offers a really good opportunity. Like, this would be a fun game to play with friends, kind of hanging out. Maybe a couple adult beverages being consumed in the process. So I'd be really curious to see how this plays in a group, because I could see this getting a lot more fun with a group setting. Kind of like real TOPGOLF, I would say, where as a driving range, it doesn't interest me that much, but it's kind of like a bar atmosphere. You can hang out and that sort of thing with your friends. Hey, at least we made it over 100. That's better than I've done in any of my sort of runs through this before. And you know what? Let's do one more. The video's going to be a little short. We can give it another run. I cannot remember how I set this up, but I thought this player was on a little bit more of a, oh, that's a bad bounce. Okay, was on a little bit more of a power-oriented swing and would have, it would be more, the second player would have a little bit of an easier swing, while the first player would hit the ball further. But maybe I got that backwards. I'm still figuring out all the settings and stuff, and ultimately I'm trying to record these videos in a pretty tight window, so my apologies if it's maybe not the most polished or professional product, but I have a limited window to record these in, I think, as I said earlier in the video, and just want to be able to get some content out for you guys. So it's a little bit of it's this or nothing, and I just figured, and to be fair, I usually do streams. I don't usually do kind of produced, polished videos in general. So this is all a little new for me, and doing it in sort of last minute on a short time frame, really not my specialty. So my apologies if I'm maybe not the best public speaker, or kind of meander a bit, maybe that sort of stuff. We're doing my best, but in the time that I have, but ultimately I'm not a YouTube personality. Just kind of the reason the channel exists is just to be able to share, usually design stuff, or in this case, I just happen to be in a position where I get a little bit of access, so I want to be able to show all that I can for the community that's interested in it. So thank you for tagging along. Appreciate you being here. And again, we'll probably do a little bit of a recording marathon tonight, and we'll do a little career mode later. I'm sure those will be even more meandering because the videos will be longer, and the night will drift on. We'll probably get a little slap happy. Man, again, it's like I think ultimately my take on this is it reminds me a lot of Divot Derby in that I don't dislike the game mode. I rather enjoy it, but it doesn't have enough depth on its own that I'm going to play a lot of it. So it's something that I'll come back to occasionally when I just want a change of pace, but it's not something I would see myself spending a lot of time in. But, I mean, ultimately it's there. Maybe this is your cup of tea, and you just kind of like firing at targets and stuff. I remember way back in the day, a competing golf title, let's say, some of those ones had a game mode that was similar to this that I really enjoyed as a kid. So maybe there's somebody out here who just really loves just getting in a groove and, ooh, that's a good one. Getting into a groove and just playing, trying to see what the high score they can get and really getting into like score chasing, or just playing with friends and that sort of thing. So hopefully a little something for everyone. But I think the the longtime fans of this game probably won't spend a ton of time in it, but ooh, 165. I think that's my personal best. We had a pretty good score there. Pretty good round. I will be when this game officially comes out. I'd be really interested to see how high people can go. I'm sure some of those TGC Tours plat players, I'm sure they could throw something up in the 200s pretty easy. But anyway, thank you for tagging along. It was great having you. We'll catch you in the next video. It should hopefully be out relatively soon, but not sure when all of the embargoes are up. But anyways, we'll see you in the next one, and thanks again. Have a good one.